So hey guys, I want to review the UpAir One and this Real Act bag that they've got. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but here, let's check it out, guys. This is a waterproof bag, by the way, in case you gotta carry your drone in the rain, perhaps. Here, okay, first of all, you got multiple compartments to store extra batteries in. This one I have some other stuff in, so the battery's not going to fit down there. But you can also store your controller batteries in these compartments here. Okay, I have my charger up here in this compartment, and then I have some other goodies and gizmos here. Okay, there's a large pocket right here that goes down the whole side of this thing. Okay. And I haven't found anything to put in there yet, but I did find that putting my manual down the side here, so I keep my manual in case I need to check something. I keep my selfie stick down the side here when I am filming myself, filming the drone, etc. And you've got this nice cover here that protects the drone when you have the flap closed. There's another large pocket here. This is where I'm keeping my props in here. Really rugged, durable zippers on here. They feel like they're actually substantial. Got a nice little net pocket here, and then you get a little compartment pocket there. And I put a carabiner on here, but you got your backpack straps there. You don't need the carabiner, but I put it there anyways, and a nice little carry handle at the top. By far, this bag is an excellent piece of kit. You should check it out and get one yourself. I'll have links down in the description for all of that. Okay, take care. My UpAir One Drone, and it came with one battery already installed there. Okay, and I have the charger for both the drone battery and the controller battery in one charger. I will tell you though that this gets really hot, and I've devised a kind of a heat sink system that I use on it to help cool it down a little, because it does get really hot. Okay, in here, well hey, why don't we go back to the drone here for a second. I'll show you a couple of features of the bag related specifically to the drone. For example, I always point my drone one way, and I don't know why it wasn't pointed that way just now, but I always point it the one way, and then I adjust the camera on the gimbal so that the lens is protected by the styrofoam and that the camera is completely protected. But now that I have a battery out, I can slide it in the battery compartment. There's a couple extras there, another one there. I put other camera related equipment in there. I have some more back here too. Stuff that I like to have with me when I'm making videos and drone videos in particular. Okay, so let's get into the controller now. First of all, I'll show you the very first mod that I did, which was to put this gizmo here to make a neck strap so that you can go hands-free on this if maybe you want to do something but not put your controller down in the mud, say. And you've got a couple of antennas here on your controller. Okay, so your controller kind of, there you go, maybe that's the best way to look at it. Okay, you've got a couple of toggles here also, right? This guy here, okay, handle is going to return to launch mode. Okay, you set that by pulling it close to you. You will have the drone return to launch, or return to where it launched from. Okay, setting this toggle all the way closest to you will put you into headless mode, or IOC mode. Going all the way away from you, pushing with your thumb all the way away from you, will put it into alt hold mode. This is a mode you want to be in when you're taking off, usually. Going into the center position, as this is a 3-position toggle, going into the center position puts you into position hold, using GPS to hold you steady and where you're at. This little guy here, he adjusts the pitch angle on the gimbal, up or down. Of course, you control the yaw on the gimbal by rotating the drone. This switch back here is your power. By pushing it to the center, you have radio control, but no FPV. By switching it one more over, that'll give you the FPV as well as the radio control. Okay. Yeah, how about we turn that back on for a second? I'll go through how you set your camera modes here real quick with this controller. Okay, clearly the drone isn't on, so I can't set any of that. I'll get back to that in a minute. Let's just turn that off. Okay, you got some nice spring-loaded sticks here. They bounce nicely back to the center. Right. You can do your startup by doing the both in and down, or out and down with the sticks. You can also shut down by holding down on the left stick for approximately 10 seconds. Or what I've found to quickly shut down is to do like this, and it shuts down in about 1 second. Okay, you've got a nice 7-inch display here, giving you an 800 by 480 display, and that's coming through your 5.8 gigahertz FPV antenna. Okay, you get an on-screen display with various flight information, and I will do a separate video on that. Don't you worry. You also get a nice after-flight report, which I thought was really cool. So you're supposed to be able to get about 600 meters FPV range. I've heard of guys getting over 1 kilometer, but personally I'm getting less than that, and I'm still experimenting with where I'm flying my drone and trying to see if maybe it's just my position. Your control antenna is a 2.4 gigahertz antenna with roughly 1 kilometer range, it says, but I do know that guys have been getting further than that. I have seen a guy fly his drone 8 kilometers. You got a nice durable aluminum bracket here that holds your FPV screen on, which is connected via a USB connection. Very simple there. You know, when you hold on to this, it feels like a rugged piece of quality kit. It's not toy-like. Okay, and inside here you got yourself a 2200 milliamp LiPo battery that plugs into your charger with that connector there. Okay, your UpAir. Oh, sorry, this is a 1500 milliamp battery. I don't know why I was thinking 2200. Maybe that's the drone, but I think that's a 2400, isn't it? No, 5400 milliamp. So I don't know what I'm thinking. Alright, also you do not want to leave your battery in the controller. I've heard guys leaving their battery in there and coming back and their battery is completely garbage. Do not leave your battery in the controller, guys. Okay. Also, they're LiPo batteries. They can catch on fire for any reason, really. Okay. There's probably a couple of more buttons on here I didn't show you. First of all, this is to record video, this button here. And this is to capture a picture. If you capture a picture, your video recording will stop. Also, if you press and hold the capture picture button for 3 seconds, on the on-screen display, you'll actually see that you are changing your camera mode. For instance, this is the 2K version, so I can go from 1080p 30 frames per second to I think, what is it, 720p or whatever it is, at 30 frames a second. Alright, so let's get into this drone now. I'm really excited to show it to you guys. So this drone, even before I take it out of the box, I can tell you all kinds of cool stuff about it. For example, this shape here, this dented in shape, is not by accident. Apparently that allows it to have a much better GPS signal, which you don't see in any of the other drones. They've got kind of a bubbly shape. I'm thinking DJI in particular is set up like that. This drone has a 1 meter vertical accuracy and a 1.6 meter horizontal accuracy. So basically you don't want to be standing right beside it, because it could move within like a meter vertically or a meter and a half horizontally, and you don't want to get in the way. Okay. This drone will also automatically land itself, auto fail-safe, on low battery power. At 10.5 volts, it will want to return to home and land itself. So be aware of that at 10.5 volts, it's going to want to come home. And you'll know that it's at 10.5 volts because you will see it on your FPV screen. Excuse me, guys, I've got a cold. I can't get over it. I was putting off doing this video, but yeah, it's just, I got to get her done. Alright, so this drone can fly at 14 meters a second maximum horizontal speed, which equates to roughly 50 kilometers an hour, which I have done in this drone. I think I got up to 51, I'm not sure, because I was looking at other things, but I know for certain that I got 50 kilometers an hour. I actually have it on video. 50 kilometers an hour. So that's that. Alright, so some of the guys are saying that they've got ways to calibrate the compass. One of the ways that they're saying it is that you go up and you spin clockwise, or yaw clockwise 5 times, and then counterclockwise 5 times. That'll calibrate your compass, and you need to do that in alt-hold mode. Okay. There's another guy who's got a video that says that if you start up your controller and your drone while you're holding the button down and the left thumbstick down and in, that will calibrate the compass. And I'll tell you right now that whenever you turn this drone on and you set it on a nice level surface, you turn this drone on, you are going to find that it calibrates its compass all by itself. But some people don't read their instructions. Some people go off flying without having proper GPS locks, and then they say, oh well, you know, I don't know why my drone doesn't fly good, right? You know, you just gotta read the instructions, go with what you know, and make sure you got a GPS lock. That's all I gotta say. And how do you know you have a GPS lock? Well, up in the top left corner of your screen on this guy, roughly about here, where it tells you, oh, I've got, you know, 25 satellites. If that satellite symbol is flashing, you are not locked on those satellites, and it only has a rough idea of your position, and you're going to get toilet bowl and that sort of thing. Okay, moving on. Okay, you get about a 19-minute flight time with this. If you take off the camera and stuff, you can get about a 25-minute flight time, but then you lose your FPV and everything else. I don't know why you'd want to take it right down, right? When you're not using this smart battery, you can tell it's smart because it gives the information there, and I've recently flown and I've got about a 50%. This battery, when left sitting idle, will discharge itself to approximately 50% of its full value. So be aware of that. Okay, you can't just, you know, leave it in the closet for 3 months, decide to take it out and fly it, because the battery won't be charged. Okay, this is a 5400 milliamp LiPo battery. Okay, nothing significant really to say about it. It is smart though. Okay, I did show you that you can check the, you know, 25%, 50%, 75%, 100%, right, when you click on it. So this would be 50%. This quad has a double GPS positioning system. I don't really know what that means, but that's what they call it. Okay, you can do return to launch. We already discussed that a bit. It's got less than 5% location error rate, which I don't know percent of what exactly, but there's less than 5%. If this drone loses contact with the radio, it will return to launch. That's a good thing right there. Okay. If you're going vertical speed, you're going to get about 3 meters a second vertical speed with this, and like we already discussed, you're going to get about 14 meters a second max horizontal speed, and for descent you're going to come down at about 4.5 meters a second. Okay, the max tilt that this thing can accomplish in flight is about a 45-degree angle, something close to that, right? 45-degree angle it can tilt. And you have brushless motors right here. Brushless motors, okay? Hey, when you're putting on your props, you want to pay attention that the dented and marked motors are for counterclockwise props. So you want to make sure you got that right when you're putting them on, or you're going to have a fatal problem there. Okay. And like I've mentioned before, this unique shape allows for a better GPS signal, which we shouldn't take lightly, because I don't see any of the other drone manufacturers going for that shape that you see there. Right, this drone is 1,350 grams, so it's not that heavy. It's not that light. It feels heavier than a toy. It feels like a solid piece of kit, right? You're going to use your 9450 DJI 9-inch props on this drone. You're going to use 2212 motors in this guy, and you're going to find you have a wheelbase of 355 millimeters, which is 35 centimeters across, 35.5 centimeters across. You know, and like I said before, it feels solid. It doesn't feel cheap and toy-like. I was really impressed with that. I didn't want it to feel cheap and toy-like. Let's see if I can identify what the antennas and whatnot are. In the front left, that should be your control antenna, and in your front right, that's probably your FPV antenna there, and back here is going to be your compass. Okay, you've got green LED lights built in, green in the back, red in the front, so that's how you can tell which way you're oriented. Right, if you need to somehow reconnect your RF transmitter and drone back together, there is a button on the underside to switch channels. Maybe you're flying with someone else who has an UpAir and you don't want to be flying on the same channel, obviously. So you can also, on the bottom of your drone, you can press this button to change the channel of your transmitter on the bottom of the drone. Okay, how about we talk about this 2K camera? I am impressed with the pictures that come off of this camera. It is not a shabby piece of kit. Okay, it comes on a brushless gimbal, a 2-axis brushless gimbal. Okay, you get approximately 600 meters FPV range, but with some minor mods and upgrades to transmitters and antennas, you could probably increase that to 1 kilometer or 1.5 kilometers. Like I've already said, the 2K camera will record 1080p at 30 frames per second and 720p at 30 frames per second. Okay, just going to show you guys how to set your video mode with the UpAir One. Okay. First of all, before you turn on your controller, always make sure that your toggles are pushed away from you. Okay, and we'll go ahead and turn on the controller. Okay, and I'm going to turn on the UpAir One now with a quick press and a long press. Okay, so to change your video mode with the UpAir One, you've got your video record button here and your picture take button. What you're going to want to do is press and hold your picture take button for 3 seconds and then release it, and it tells us we're at 1080p 30 frames per second, and we'll try again, and this time we're at 720p 30 frames per second, and back to 1080p. This is only the 2K camera. Now, I can't remember what the details were for the 4K camera. Let me see if I can find it here. Yeah, on the 4K camera you can do everything the 2K camera can, plus 4K at 24 frames per second and 2.5K at 30 frames per second. So that's how you change your video mode with the UpAir One. The gimbal can adjust pitch from minus 30 degrees to 90 degrees, and it handles pitch and roll actually. You've got some nice rubber ball dampeners to take the vibration out of the picture. You have to supply your own memory card, which goes in here. Okay, not a big deal. Most of us can pick up a memory card at the Walmart or whatever. There is a USB connection, which some guys are saying that they just plug in and they can see all the files on the memory card. I have not been able to do that yet, so I don't know what to tell you on that. I'm perfectly happy just taking out the memory card myself. Okay. Let's talk about mods. You know, I've already done the necktie or whatever mod, but last night I did the USB mod. Okay, and I did mine right through the battery compartment there, and I've connected my USB cable into the micro USB slot on the main board so that I can talk to the drone with my computer. I think the next mod I'm going to do is going to be the sunshade. I think that's a worthwhile one to do. And I don't think that there's much more that I can tell you about this drone. I think I've told you everything you really need to know, other than that I think this is a really quality piece of drone equipment. If you are like me and you just don't have the money to afford things like the fancy DJI Phantoms or other expensive drones out there, this one, for the money, you actually get a really decent flying drone. If you pay attention to the details, you can fly this drone and not have too much issue. Okay, it's a really good drone in my opinion. Thumbs up by me.